Inside a high-tech, sterile laboratory, two superstar geneticists named Clive and Elsa are pushing the boundaries of God. They have already successfully created Fred and Ginger, two massive, translucent, slug-like organisms designed to produce medical proteins for their corporate backers. However, their ambition is darker. They secretly decide to introduce human DNA into their latest experiment, bypassing every ethical and legal boundary in existence. The result is a pulsating, translucent sac that eventually ruptures, spilling a wet, shivering mass onto the floor. It is a creature that should not exist. It has bird-like legs, a long whip-like tail tipped with a venomous stinger, and a face that is hauntingly, unmistakably humanoid. They name the creature Dren. Dren does not grow like a normal child. She evolves at a terrifying, exponential rate. Within days, she transforms from a crawling, larval entity into a sentient, child-sized being. She possesses a high level of intelligence and a complex emotional range, yet she remains a predator at her core. As the pharmaceutical corporation begins to suspect that Clive and Elsa are hiding a secret, the scientists are forced to smuggle Dren out of the city. They hide her in an isolated, decaying barn on Elsa's family estate, a place already haunted by Elsa's own childhood trauma. The barn becomes a twisted domestic experiment. Elsa develops a disturbing maternal obsession with Dren, dressing the creature in human clothes and trying to teach her to read and draw. Clive, initially horrified and wanting to terminate the specimen, finds himself increasingly drawn into the creature's strange, tense orbit. Dren's physiology continues to mutate in ways they never predicted. She develops large, retractable wings hidden in her back, allowing her to soar through the rafters of the barn like a gargoyle. The relationship between the creators and their creation begins to rot. Dren's temperament fluctuates between childlike affection and predatory rage. In one chilling sequence, Dren captures a cat and, in a fit of territorial jealousy over Elsa's attention, kills it with her venomous stinger. The boundaries between parent and scientist dissolve completely when Elsa begins to treat Dren with the same psychological cruelty she experienced from her own abusive mother. In a traumatic makeshift surgery, Elsa pins Dren down and surgically removes the creature's venomous stinger to tame her, an act of pure mutilation that only serves to fuel Dren's resentment. Meanwhile, back at the corporate lab, the original slug-like hybrids, Fred and Ginger, provide a gruesome warning. During a massive public demonstration intended to show off the creatures to investors, the two organisms undergo a violent biological shift. They were supposed to be the same sex, but one has spontaneously changed from female to male. The demonstration turns into a horrific bloodbath as the two massive slugs tear each other apart in a frantic, instinctual mating ritual, spraying the horrified board members with gore. The horror shifts from the lab to the bedroom as Dren reaches adolescence. She becomes hyper-aware of the sexual tension between her creators. In the film's most uncomfortable and controversial sequence, Dren uses her pheromones and her increasingly humanoid beauty to seduce Clive. The act is a total collapse of human ethics. Clive, lost in a trance of biological manipulation, gives in to the creature, shattering his relationship with Elsa and proving that Dren is no longer a specimen. She is a conscious, manipulative entity capable of destroying the lives of those who made her. Realizing they have created a monster that they can no longer control or understand, Clive and Elsa decide they must end the experiment. They return to the barn to find Dren seemingly dying, her body shriveled, gray, and cold. As they mourn the loss of their daughter, they realize too late that Dren's body is not dying. It is preparing for a final, violent metamorphosis. Dren's corpse undergoes a rapid skeletal molt. Following the same biological path as the slugs in the lab, Dren undergoes a spontaneous sex change, transforming into a hulking, hyper-aggressive male version of the species. The new male Dren is a pure killing machine, stripped of the daughterly affection he once showed. He ambushes Clive in the woods, hunting him like prey before impaling him through the chest with a newly grown razor-sharp stinger. The male Dren then tracks Elsa back to the barn. In a final horrific violation of nature, the creature overpowers Elsa and impregnates her, ensuring the survival of his distorted genetic line through the very woman who gave him life. The cycle of parenting ends in a brutal biological assault. The film concludes months later in a sterile, sunlit corporate boardroom. Elsa is alive, but she is noticeably heavily pregnant. The pharmaceutical company has successfully covered up the massacre at the farm and the death of Clive. Elsa sits quietly, appearing hollowed out and traumatized, as the executives offer her a massive sum of money and a new position of power to carry the hybrid fetus to term. She looks at her reflection in the window, touching her stomach, knowing that the crime against nature she started with a single strand of DNA is now growing inside her, ready to birth a new, uncontrollable species into a world that is completely unprepared.